Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you find yourself. Justin here on Nerdstead, and today we are building some planter boxes. It is springtime now. It's early May here in northern Iowa, and we are going to be getting our garden transplanted and planted. We've got a lot of things that we're trying to grow this year: beets, Brussels sprouts, bell peppers, tomatoes, both cherry and beefsteak, cucumbers, Bib lettuce, carrots. We're trying a lot of everything. So what I'm doing is getting some planter boxes built. I am using some cedar fence pickets because they're pretty cost effective, readily available, and cedar holds up good weather. I'm using some cedar fence pickets, and I'm going to be building some 36 by 18 planter beds, and I'm going to probably be putting some feet on them as well. But right now, I'm just going to build one planter bed. I'm kind of doing this off the cuff a little bit, and I'm going to see how it turns out. But this a 36 by 3 foot by 1.5 foot should be what we need. So first things first, I'm going to take these, which are going to be our side pickets and our bottom pieces for the planter bed, and I'm going to cut off the very little edge, the very little tip edge here of the material, just to make sure I can make sure it's squared up. A lot of the times when you get this fence picket material, the bottom of it is not squared up. Actually, let me pull this back a little bit more. I don't want to cut too much off, but I don't want to cut nothing off at the same time. You know what I'm saying? There we go. That should be good right there. I'm using this hold fast built into my Ryobi saw, my Ryobi miter saw. And safety first, we got on our eyes. I'm going to go ahead and put on our ears. As somebody who has tinnitus from military service, there are the 3 P's to hearing. Hearing loss is painful, permanent, but preventable. It just takes an extra second for you to go ahead and throw on some hearing protection. Protect your ears, your eyes, and your fingers. No loose clothing. It's warm today. It's 75 degrees, and there's not much wind, so it's a sweaty day, but it's a day of stuff that needs to get done. The wife is currently mowing a section of the yard, so she's having fun on the zero turn. So let's go ahead and kerf off some of this material here. All right, this is going to get loud, so I'll probably cut this in post-production. But what we're going to do is we're going to fire up our saw here, and in a nice controlled motion, we're going to take this edge off. So the saw is going to have a little bit of jump when it starts, but with a nice controlled motion, we got that excess material off the edge. Now we have a squared up edge. A little bit of scrap here. We're going to have a lot of scrap today. I'm going to go ahead and get these cuts done. Keep everything moving right along. I've already got all my measurements done. I did that first thing before I started recording because I know how hectic things can get when you start recording. Almost there. I'll bring this in. Yeah, that's online. Nice fluid motion. And we have ourselves the start of our sides and our bottom pickets. So I'm going to go ahead and get my lumber cut. I might try to time lapse it, but we'll see. I'll get everything cut, and then we'll kind of go into the rest of the build. Okay, so we got the majority of our wood chopped up that we're going to be needing. I have a couple of interior pieces here to stabilize the center of the. Well, I'm not even going to need to go that hard. I could split these in half, and these are just going to be in the middle piece. We'll have the ends. We'll have this to support the middle because there's going to be a bunch of weight. And I guess the only other thing I have left to do now is the legs. So I'm going to get the legs cut to size on the miter saw and then bring them over here to the table saw to split them down because these boards are 5.5 inches. So I'm going to cut that in half. Actually, I'm probably going to cut them down into 2 inches and have two 2-inch boards put together for the legs. So I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts. Okay, I'm going to get those cut, and I'll bring you back. I'll show you on the table saw getting those split down. Okay, so I have this set to 2 inches. Like I said, these are 5.5-inch boards. So I'm going to do these runs through here. We'll run this wood through, and hopefully everything will go good. So I'm pretty sure my measurements are right. Like I said, I'm kind of winging these, but I think it'll work. So I'm not too terribly worried. And yep, I had these boards too close. I'll push this out a little bit further. That's fine. It's all trial and error. It's a good deal of error. That's the fun of homesteading, though, right? All right. And if there's anybody who's got any tips, tricks, any of that hints or anything they want to give me as a very novice woodworker, I am down for any sort of assistance. As far as my woodworking experience goes, I've made probably about 7 planter boxes with my uncle a few months ago, and that is the extent of my experience. So, and we did a little bit of a different design than what I'm doing. All right, let me get things cleaned up and we can start assembly. Okay, well, while we're waiting for these longer pieces to dry, because I don't have enough clamps, I'm going to go ahead, mark my lines where my boards are, get some tight bond in here and get these short ends put together. All right. We'll get these in. We'll get them hit with the stapler. There we are. Are we doing this again? Let's not do this again. There we go. Getting these put together. This tight bond's going to take about an hour to set. So we have a little bit of leakage. That's fine. It's all going to be underneath. There we go. We go wipe this off over here. I just had to go to the hardware store, and I completely forgot to buy some shop towels. So I got some leftover Chick-fil-A napkins back here. I'm kind of keeping them back so they don't get blown away. All right, so we got that. Let's grab another one. Set this off to the side. So these aren't going to turn out to be half bad. They're a little shorter. I made a mistake. When I was doing my sizing, and I sized these. I didn't account for there being two boards. I accounted for one board, not two boards, in my measurements, goofed up. So these are a little shorter than I wanted them to be, but that's going to work. I mean, that's going to be fine. Just have to take a knee, but that's okay. No big deal. No big deal. Let's grab a couple more boards. Got these pieces here. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Grab my little carpenter pencil here. I picked these carpenter pencils up off of Amazon. I think they're Nick Pro. These things are awesome, man. They come with tons of graphite insert pieces. They're just nice. All right, tight bond. Let's do your thing. And let's go clean the head of this off because it is covered in glue. Yeah. Man, I tell you what, if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I'd be living on a 7.5 acre homestead, building planter boxes in my detached garage workshop to grow food in, I'd have looked at you like you were silly. And 5 years ago, I was getting paid to be a video games journalist, play video games, and talk about it for a living. And now here I am. It's crazy how life changes. How one's priorities change. Their wants. But I'm happy to be here. That is for sure. I'm happy. The wife's happy. The puppies are happy. Everybody's doing good. I don't think I have to drive as many staples into this as I have been, but it's okay. I could put this in the other staple mode, so I wouldn't have to keep pulling the trigger. Because it does have, so if we drop the battery, pop this over, connect it back, then we can there we go. Actually, that was much quicker. Why didn't you do that before? Oh, nobody knows. All right. Well, we have this done. I wonder, could I hook these boards in? If I hit some tight bond along the inside piece here, these inside pieces, can I just drop this board in and then do the same thing where I tack it with some staples before I get everything screwed together. We are going to be using actual screws. These staples are not structural. These are just to hold things together. We have ourselves some construction screws, triple max shield, size number 8, 1 1/4 inch screws with a self-countersinking head. So they are made by Gripfast. These will be what is structurally holding this together. So right now we're just getting things tacked together to hold them together. We're not using these staples as what is going to be the main structural force behind this, because they are not rated for that. Not for this. This is going to be filled with soil, probably about 20 to 25 pounds worth. So that's just not the play. I wonder if I just turn you on your side. I could do it. Hit some tight bond. Hit some staples. You know what? Let's try it. What's the worst that could happen, right? What's your deal? Oh, I accidentally closed it some. There we go. A little bit of glue. Put this down here. All right. Now you're making things complicated for yourself, bud. You're making things complicated for yourself. There's 1. There's 2. All right. Let's line this up there. Line you up over here. Those are in place. Those are on. All right, that looks good. And then I'm going to take this here, looks to be about the midway point. I'm just going to take this piece of wood to act as a brace. Let's kind of put that there. I'm not too terribly worried about it being perfectly on center. This just to help with bowing. All right, well, I might get this other side in, then try to put this top piece in, and then start putting the bottom sections on. All right. Well, yeah, I'm going to get that done, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, so we have a pretty tight fit here. Did good with sizing out one of these boards that was just a little too big, but yeah, she's not as straight on as I'd like her to be, but she'll hold dirt, hold plants, and hold fast. So really, that's all about what we really needed it to do. It's not like it's going to win any beauty pageants, but like I said earlier, function over form. And the nice thing is that this will just keep on working year after year, because cedar is one of those woods that's kind of naturally rot resistant, handles the weather well. Some bugs don't like it. So all in all, and for the price, at about where I am, it was about $3.49 per board. This used 7 boards. So not a terrible hit to the wallet either. Now, you don't need to have all the fancy tools and stuff that I had. You can get away with just some glue and some clamps. You don't have to have the 18 gauge crown stapler. I mean, having a drill, you should probably have a drill. They're not super expensive. They go on sale all the time. I think having an electric drill is a must, even if you are just a very casual DIYer, hanging some pictures in the house or something. Cordless drill is a very versatile tool indeed. So, with that said, we got one more screw, and this project is complete. There it is. Well, actually, I lied. This isn't complete yet. It looks like I did miss 2 screws there. They're partially in, but plenty strong. Now all I'm going to do is take a drill and drill a few drainage holes in these boards, and that's it. So I'm just going to use like a, I don't know, probably a 1/2 inch bit, maybe probably just a 1/4 inch bit, and just do 2 holes per board or 3 holes per board. And that's it, we're done. I'll take a couple pictures of this after. You can take a look at it. Thanks for popping by. Thank you for anybody who's got any tips on woodworking that are going to leave in the comments below. Like I said, we're completely brand new to this. This is all new to me, so I'm here for tips. Until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are.